Welcome into the latest episode of the Captain's Log. I'm your host, Brandon, aka the Captain, joined all season long by my co-host Webb. And usually this show's about what?
Memphis.
Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. Everywhere we go, it's Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee.
That's right. Usually nothing but Memphis Showboats here on the Captain's Log. I think Webb, we're usually a pretty positive group of fans over here, positive group of podcasters. Most shows on the United Football Media kind of put over the league. We want to hype it up. We don't talk about the negative too much. Who wants to talk about the negative? Negativity hogs publicity. And this week it's been a little bit of negativity. The past couple weeks have been some negativity. So let's just get into it. Is the UFL good? Okay. How you feeling, Webb?
I'm on the fence, man. I'm going to be honest. I'm excited about this season coming up, but with the business side of it, it kind of scares me a little bit when you start to read the details, and we'll go through this whole episode. But I think the biggest thing that is being blown out of proportion is our first topic. Ticket sales, I don't think they matter as much for the long term. What are your thoughts?
I can see that. I can see it feels like that's kind of always been the argument from especially us USFL homers who, let's face it, don't have many fans in the stands for our teams. But when I first got into the USFL, from the talking heads at Fox and everything, it sounded like this was a made for TV product. And we can pipe in crowd noise. It's unfortunate, but we can pipe in crowd noise. We can do things to up the broadcast and make it nice. And let's be honest, a lot of people like watching at home. A lot of people just like to watch football at home. I've heard Eric talk about it on Tell Me About It. This is football in the spring when there is no football on. So butts in the seat, absolutely. It's important. It can help the league generate more revenue, which is good for everybody. We want to see fans at the games cheering on these guys like we're cheering them on at home. Like some of us that aren't too close to UFL markets, but it's concerning when you hear things like from James Larson put out an article a couple weeks ago about the ticket sales in particular, kind of started this whole thing. They're usually not too negative, really. So for them to kind of put out an article like this was like, oh damn. So he said like St. Louis in particular is well under 40% of season ticket renewals. That coincides with the Birmingham Stallions too, but it's like when you say St. Louis is down 40%, season ticket renewal year over year, that's kind of rough. That's our linchpin when it comes to fans.
Yeah, I get it, but when you start to talk to some of the season ticket holders, especially in Birmingham, they were able to get better deals as the season went on instead of buying the whole season ticket package. Same thing with
Yeah.
Josh. The guy sitting next to him paid quarter the price later on in the season, and instead of committing the entire season and up front, they're going to go week by week, and I think you can recover a lot of it because I think those season ticket holder fans are kind of lifelong fans. I know it's only 2 or 3 years, but like
Yeah.
they've been
The
there for a
diehards.
while. What's that?
The diehards pretty
Yeah, the
much are going to be
diehards.
the ones that are buying season tickets, especially like you said. I mean, Luke Miller, old State of the Stallions, put out a great tweet about it. I agree with him. It is for us, the people like Josh who buy season tickets just because, that dude just wants to support the league. He wants to do anything he can to keep the league going. And we love that. And there's fans like that all over the UFL in the community. You find them on Twitter, Facebook, all over the place. And we love those guys. We need those guys. But you're right. I mean, as the season goes on, you get free stuff and a cheaper ticket. So, I mean, it's pretty hard to beat that. One, one more thing Larson said in the article that was a bit. It felt like a not a secret, but like a well known secret. I guess how they describe it. You get it. But some markets get better treatment than others. It feels like some of us have kind of felt that internally, and that just kind of validated more so. Like, okay, I thought something was going on. Like because you see some markets, man, they don't get much. Now Memphis is doing something very cool. Very cool. They've got like for the next every couple days, the front office staff is going to be out in the community, trying to drum up some support for the Showboats, try to get as many people in the stands as we can leading up to kickoff. The boats are the only one I've seen do that so far. And credit to Steve Macy, Andy Seeley, I'm sure probably helps out with that too. So credit to the Showboats for getting out there and realizing like, hey, let's get a nice little ramp up into the season. So hopefully stuff like that. Maybe we can get a couple other uh, markets to do it, but I think ticket sales in the long run, we need them eventually. But I think for now we're okay as long as ratings are good. As long as ratings are in the millions, 900,000 range, everything should be good. Advertisers should be happy. Fox, for the most part, should be happy. ESPN should be happy. As long as those people can sell ads, they should be happy.
Yeah, and the way the calendar kind of breaks out, we should be able to keep momentum because you don't have the big sporting events. I know you got opening day and some of the Final Four and everything, but when you get down to Final Four weekend, there's only 3 games. So you can kind of schedule around them. You can get those eyeballs on the TV. I think TV numbers is number one priority. And it's a TV product. And I know we're USFL guys, so we're going to say that. But I just think that's number one priority for the long-term goal. So,
Yeah. And ticket sales would lead to better revenue, as we all know, and better revenue might quell some of these problems that we're starting to see rise out here from the business side, like you mentioned at the beginning. Labor issues, players going on strike. I mean, this thing has been crazy, dude. Every other day, somebody's putting out a new article about it, and it's like, damn, where are y'all when the season starts? Where you know what I'm saying? Like, I got Pro Football Talk. Now, granted, Pro Football Talk, he's with NBC for the most part. And back when USFL was on NBC, he wrote about it then. And he still kind of kept up with spring leagues. So shout out Florio at Pro Football Talk, giving us a little publicity every now and then. But other sites, Sports Business Journal, Front Office Sports, owned by Redbird, who owns the UFL, Awful Announcing picked it up, Bro Bible, like everybody picked it up, dude. And it's like, damn, we put out a tweet about it. Like, it's a shame that this is the kind of publicity we get, from McAfee. Even made it all the way up to McAfee on ESPN just so he could crap all over it, him and the boys. I'm a McAfee fan, so I just kind of skipped past that segment, tuned it out like la 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 la. But it sucks when this is the stuff that makes it to mainstream media, and it's really not going to affect the season, I don't think. In the long run, I think we're going to get a season off. Will a couple players hold out? Will a couple players strike? I don't see it. What do you see? These guys just, a week one game's about to kick off. We're walking out the tunnel and then walking right back in.
you can't do it if you're trying to get back to the NFL. The film is more important than the temporary payment. I know we all like to earn a little extra money, obviously, but the whole point of this league is to get back to the NFL, right? So they need the film more than some bargaining chip and negotiations. So I think all guys should be on the field, but it's crazy how the rumors have gone crazy online. You don't even know what to believe at some point because there was a rumor that they were going to strike the day before the season starts. All this kind of stuff, and the league, I guess, any publicity is good publicity because we're talking about it. Big outlets are covering it, so maybe Redbird, owning front office, right? Trying to get their name out there, build the brand. They don't have The Rock. The Rock's too busy right now, so
Taking
maybe,
souls.
maybe maybe that's part of it. It's just getting out there because they can't break through the national news cycle right now unless it's some kind
Yeah.
of news like this.
Yeah, yeah, and one thing you gotta think of too, like with anybody, I respect the Larsons, I respect the Mike Mitchells out here, they're real deal insiders. I don't think any of us have ever claimed to be like an insider. We know things every once in a while. We'll know when a player's going somewhere. Back when we were with the USFL, we got a little heads up that, I was gonna be a Memphis Showboats guy. We got the heads up that Tampa Bay was going to Memphis. So we know some stuff, but like those guys know stuff, but you got to wonder, it's like you got to kind of take it as like, who wants this out? You know what I'm saying? Like, who would benefit from letting this information get out? Who would benefit from telling Mike Mitchell something like this? Who would benefit from telling James Larson something like this? And when you kind of look at it, it's like the league probably, even though, front office sports is owned by Redbird, it doesn't feel like the league would have a person in the league letting this out. You know what I'm saying? If I was guessing, it seems like it'd be from the player side, whether that be the union people trying to get their narrative across, because they got it across pretty quickly. So it it worked. It definitely worked. And same thing with like the ticket sales article, it's like who wants that information out? Like who let James know that? Like I know there was a lot of layoffs in the ticketing department. So, I don't want to be like accusing anybody, but there could be some sour grapes out there. Some people that just, and what they know at the time is true, but things can change. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of got to see who would benefit from this
What
information getting out.
if the league leaked out the ticket sales are down to use it as a bargaining chip for the labor, saying, "Hey, we can't pay because the fans aren't supporting us," and now it goes full circle and kind of tying the hands of the union.
Oh, we're getting tinfoil hats on over here, folks. We're getting into some conspiracies. I love it. I love it. 'Cause, you mentioned The Rock, and it seems like he gets mentioned a lot with these labor issues. Like every tweet I've seen, the MLS, their Players Association, actually put out a tweet from their account. The MLS, Major League Soccer, has been around for 30 years at this point. They're pretty well established, I would say. They
Yeah.
got the greatest soccer player ever playing, Messi. I think most people would consider him one of the goats.
Not my
So I think they're
6-year-old.
doing pretty.
My 6-year-old hates Messi. He's a Ronaldo
Oh,
guy.
Oh, there you go. Well, it's either one of those. I guessed Messi because I was pretty sure I saw him in that pink, and I was pretty sure I was right. So thank God I got right. But the MLS is doing fine. But anyway, their Players Association is standing in solidarity with the United Football Players Association, who is the one leading this CBA charge this season for the UFL players. And they put out a tweet that specifically mentioned The Rock and then other UFL owners. And it's like I think these people see, The Rock, Danny Garcia, Fox, ESPN, these big names behind this stuff. And it's like, yeah, they got deep pockets for sure. Should they pony up a little more? Absolutely. But I don't see the leverage. I don't know what leverage the players have, and that sucks. That sucks, dude. I wish they had more leverage, but I don't see it.
So from what I've kind of researched, from 22 with the USFL to 23,
Mhm.
there's an increase, and then 23 to 24, there's an increase, and it looks
That was
like
with the
20
old union.
with the old union. So 25 looks like it's not going to be an increase. Am I reading that correctly, or is it kind of like just
And that's
balance?
it. So from the first article that Larson put out, it mentioned in there the quarterbacks wrote that letter. They all signed it, all 24 of them. That's the big headline on every freaking tabloid that's picked it up is all 24 quarterbacks are striking. And it's like, dude, I get it. We're gonna have a fun little clickbaity title on this. I get it. Get your clicks, okay? But once you're in the article, in the meat and potatoes of it, like let's talk real. Okay, let's talk real here. Okay. The players got sent an offer. The quarterbacks only were supposed to compete, or not compete, but supposed to partake in this mini camp, probably with Jordan Palmer, to get some quarterback development. Help these guys out a little bit, just a little 3-day weekend mini camp. They didn't show up, and they wrote a letter, and in that letter it said that they got an offer from the league. So and then they said they were offended by it. They was, embarrassing, something along those lines. So they just absolutely hated it. And this is where we are now with stuff getting leaked to the media and, new stories about maybe strikes before the season starts. So it's all gotten a little crazy. But I will say the UFLPA, which was the union we carried over from the USFL, that if we go back, the XFL players, they voted no. They never wanted a union. You know what I'm saying? The USFL did. those guys voted for a union. I'm not saying everybody, but majority wins. And the XFL majority was no, the USFL majority was yes. So when they merged, the USFL CBA that was already in place kept over for that first UFL season. And then I believe after the season, or might have been before the season, the United Steelworkers, who were backing the UFLPA, which the Steelworkers are a long-standing union for, I don't know, 30, 40 years or whatever. They've been around. They know how unions work. They know how negotiations work, collective bargaining. It's a good person to have in your back pocket, when you're going into negotiations, somebody that's done it plenty of times. And they pulled out, and it was because the players voted them out, and they voted in this new union that they have now, the United Football Players Union. And it seemed like when the Steelworkers pulled out, they put out a pretty little tweet that was pretty petty. They quoted words like the players want to be united, and they taking little pot shots at the new union. Really, you can go see the tweet; it's still up on their UFLPA Twitter, but it just seems like this new union is kind of causing a lot of noise, and hopefully the noise can get some results. But if it doesn't, it just was a whole lot of hoopla that made casual fans that already didn't think the league was going to last definitely bow out of the league. So we'll see the long-term effects, but as far as this season goes, I don't think it's anything crazy.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Who do you think's leading this union charge from the player side? Because I know with the USFL, we had the names. AJ
Yeah, the
McCarron was
player
the
reps
big
were all out there.
whistleblower, right? Last year, talking about salaries and everything. He's gone. Is it?
Yeah,
Is it?
AJ absolutely
Uh,
hated it.
which all the XFL side
Maybe
did.
his Yeah, yeah, because they didn't want it. They voted uh no against it when they had their chance to unionize, and AJ McCarron, as soon as the leagues merged, hopped on a podcast, shout out Marty, and just tore the PA to shreds. Really, I mean, just these guys, they're doing this and that and this and that, and my mom's leaving her sign behind in Birmingham because we got beat real bad, and that was embarrassing. It's like, dude, like AJ was just so vocal about hating it, and I'm sure he's an influential guy. Guys look up to him, and he can change some minds. So this year, leading the charge, like I have no idea. I think it's just all the union. I think the union has just talked these guys into letting them kind of handle it. I think all the players at training camp are like right now, if they're doing little media press conferences and stuff, they're all dialed in. So everything you see from actual press conferences from the actual training camp dealing with the actual players that are there, everything seems fine. Dudes are locked in, dudes are participating. We're getting social media clips of everybody making up brand new celebrations, and it seems like a good time. So I think this is just all a bunch of noise, hoping that it gets loud enough that the UFL has to concede some things, and hopefully these guys get what they want, get what they deserve. Year-round healthcare I know is a big one. If a guy gets concussed in week 10, I'm pretty sure his health insurance is still up in the next 2 weeks or whatever. So, that's crap. That's pretty, pretty, crap stuff.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But
All right.
I don't know. I don't know I don't know the answer. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
Well,
can damn sure talk about the problem.
there you go. So hopefully we get an answer in the next couple weeks, and this is all put to bed before the season, and we can just use
Has to
this
be.
publicity just to get eyeballs on the product going into the season. So I'm hoping that's at the end of the day, that's the
Yeah. Quit.
final product.
Matter of fact, matter of fact, quit looking at all this strike stuff. Go check out Destroying. Okay, I know he doesn't need any more publicity, but go go watch him. He's got a fun little UFL project NFL Hard Knocks thing coming out. Go watch that. Don't listen to the awful announcing, the pro football talk articles. We'll get a CBA when we get a CBA. I think if they don't come to an official agreement, they'll just run it back with the same one, and then who knows? We'll be in the same spot next year, but it is what it is, man. Like I said, this season, I think we don't have anything to worry about.
All right, man. Question of the week. You ready?
Hit me.
All right. Question of the week. The most active member in the Yacht Club, Bill Alexander, submitted this question. Thank you, Bill. the original captain or the Memphis captain.
Exactly.
His fan question is, what defensive scheme do you think the Showboats are going to run in 2025? You want to go first or
Okay.
second?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I gotta go first because this is all you, buddy. This is all you. About to pass this right on over. Recently, I got the nice little email of Jaron Horton's first little press conference, little Zoom call. Good to see the boy back. He looks excited. We've seen him on a couple social media clips. Old Mr. Secretary of Defense out here, making some good clips for us. What I know about Jaron's defense is what I've seen on a couple Twitch screens of his. Popular Twitch streamer Jaron Horton. Cover six is what I hear a lot about. I hear about this cover six, and then I hear a lot about, hey, you can play cover two and still stop the run. Okay. You just got to have the guys to do it. So I think whatever Jaron comes up with, like I heard him on the press conference, he's one of those coaches that you don't have to kind of fit his system. He can kind of mold a system around you. Pick where you fit in his system. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to put you in a bad position, is what I've gathered from watching Jaron Horton the past couple years.
Yeah, watching him coach the Maulers those 2 years. The first year was a lot of blitzing because he had guys that could do that kind of stuff and man coverage. 2023 was all zone. It was a lot of zone. So I think he's going to take whatever talent he has and kind of mesh it into the system that works. I do think it's going to be a three down front. That's just traditionally what he does. Or it could be a
Base
4-2-5,
defense.
a 4-2-5 with four down linemen, two coverage linebackers, and just kind of sit back there and get home with four. And we saw what happened in the Super Bowl. If you can get home with four, you could beat Pat Mahomes. And in this league,
Yes, sir.
with the offensive lines, I just think I trust his staff. I know I have a relationship with them for a couple of years now, but this staff is solid from top to bottom, especially on the defensive side, and I know they'll figure it out. But Mr. Horton is Mr. Popular. He's probably the most popular coordinator right now. All of a sudden, he comes in his league. This is his first year in the UFL, and he's getting press conference and everything. So, and he has that relationship with Wiz because his dad coached underneath him. They coached together. When Jaron was a ball boy with the Steelers, Wiz was there. Steve Myers, Steeler family, Mark Hole. There's a whole relationship with the defense where they're kind of just trusting the defensive staff to figure it out, and I know they will. So, if you had to pick a scheme, coordinator Brandon, what's your go-to scheme? Maybe on NCAA 25?
Yeah, Madden NCAA. I go four. I love me four down linemen. I need four down linemen at all times. I can do it with. I usually play a lot of nickel. Play a lot of nickel out here. I sub in that linebacker for maybe a safety, get a little more speed on the field, depending on what we're doing. But I like four down linemen at all times. Give me boys rushing the quarterback at all times.
I agree. And after you watch the Eagles, you've got to agree with that because we can get there with four. But
get you a couple exciting whites in the secondary, lock them down, and pin the ears back, boys.
Lunch fill. Going to off-season grade. Thanks, Bill, for submitting that question. Off-season grades. You've kind of thrown this topic out to me. I'm going to follow your lead with this. We didn't really plan this out completely. I'll follow your lead. Go for it.
I'll take you on a journey, brother. So like the way I looked at it is just the offseason. We're in training camp, so the season's underway. We're in it. We're in UFL season, baby. So let's take a look back at what's happened over the offseason, this labor stuff included, ticket articles included, but also talent acquisition. This is a lot of talent this year, dude. Like we brought in Kellen Mons, we got Max Duggins, we got Damon Arnett's, we got our own superstar cornerback.
Cam
I'm drawing a
Dantzler.
blank. Yep, Cam Dantzler. I mean, we've got talent, man. Like when McAfee goes on and talks about like there's no talent. Like, dude, these are first round picks. Mike Mitchell responded to one of our tweets and broke it all down. Like, these are a lot of first round draft picks, second round draft picks. Like, these are just dudes that, stuff happens. Stuff happens in the NFL. You get injured one time and that's it. Your career might be over. Or, nobody wants to take a chance on you again. So, as a whole, on the off season, the talent acquisition, this crap that's kind of crept up before the season, the marketing issues that kind of everybody's been on the UFL's tail about, which I think is very warranted, especially when all season long we hear you talk about we've got this runway, we've got this runway, we've got a lot of extra time to work with. And it's like, we didn't really you do much with it, guys. And it's not like you have to do much, dude. That's the craziest part. We have the rock. We have him right there. You and me both. We were watching Elimination Chamber. You know, we're a couple WWE losers that like those grown men in tights playing dress up. Those dudes get beat up. Okay, it's a good time. We saw John Cena turn heel. What if The Rock had just a little UFL wristband on? You know, just a little UFL logo anywhere on his body at any time at any of these WWE events. That's all it would take. People would be like, Rock, what's that? Like they even mentioned it in his little package, like UFL, one of his successful brands, and it's like the man will tweet about Zoa. He'll tweet about Papatui. He'll tweet about Terabana. We've gotten one UFL tweet. So it's like the marketing is there. It feels like a layup with some of these, owners that we have, like The Rock. Off-season grade as a whole for me, C. Okay. C's get degrees. And I feel like that's what we did. They invested, in some stuff. We've got some infrastructure in Arlington. That's cool. I do think a plan is there. Hopefully, you know, that was another thing in the James Arson ticket sales article that he talked about that like there's no set direction. It seems like USFL and XFL are still trying to figure out where they're going. So I'm thinking we're at a C right now because they don't know where they're going. But I'm thinking hopefully after this season, they can take a step back and just the little things, just do a couple of the little things right. The big things will follow. So off-season grade C because we made it to a season. We got great new talent, but there's a lot of stuff we can work on.
Okay. I'm going with B minus for a lot of the same reasons, but at the end of the day, I think quality football wins. I think the talent acquisitions carries a lot of weight, even though the social media and the marketing have left. If I had to break down the grade, that was an F. Like that was just an F. I just think that the talent and the league developing as a potential, I
Yeah.
would like to say a potential NFL developmental league, where
A plus.
those relationships I think can help this league. But that's a whole nother episode. I will say, I don't know if you saw Horton's little TikTok short kind of thing where he talked about through the air or through the ground. I'm talking about Fred Smith from Memphis.
Yeah,
When
FedEx
I
spread.
saw that with all this going on, I'm like, wait a minute, is he hearing something about business and all this kind of stuff? Like, because that was always the rumored guy that brought the team to Memphis. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I the business side is tough because you don't know everything that's going on in the room. I can tell you the guys on the roster, I can tell you the coaches, I can tell you where they've been, what kind of player they are, but I don't know what's going on in those closed door meetings. But I can't agree more with The Rock. Like, you can't just set up someone to tweet for you once a week talking about a guy that
Anything.
signed with the UFL. That's all you got to do.
Like
Like
Kellen Mond, Max Duggan. Those are easy layup signings. Like, oh man, even retweet it. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is.
well, Player
Hopefully,
54 is
maybe
his whole idea, right?
it's
It
his whole
doesn't have
thing.
to be the Kellerman. It doesn't have. It could be the Boogie Roberts. You know what I mean? I know he's a movie star, but Josiah Bronson or anyone like that they could bring on, or Dorenzo, or anything like that. That just showing the opportunity for this league, and that's what this league is all about. So I think they missed
Yeah.
on that. I think social media was terrible in the offseason. I know there's guys doing that post and everything, but it was not consistent.
Yeah, the whole final boss, man. Final boss, final thoughts here. Uh Man, John Cena heel turn, huh? Boy, if only we had a wrestling podcast. But yeah, man, you're gonna work on that EJ Perry interview. We're sorry, guys. We had a
Yeah.
great podcast set up for you guys last week. We interviewed Memphis Showboats quarterback EJ. Man, he's a great dude. I love him. I'm all in on EJ Perry right now. You know, Webb's got Troy, and I'm deep in the EJ Perry camp. Good dude. What?
And, breaking down the huddles is really important to me, especially early on. And
The
so
what?
far, we've seen Troy and Boogie breaking down the
Oh.
huddles. So I'm holding on to that. All right, but I think at the end of the day, EJ Perry, and if you watch around the UFL this week, they said EJ Perry actually asked to leave
Yeah.
Michigan, and we know why, because we interviewed him, and the next couple of days I'm going to work over it. It was a sound issue. It was my fault, the producer, and
we're gonna splice something together, at
yeah,
least so you can hear EJ. You don't need to hear
yeah,
us, but you need to hear what EJ has to say. So we're gonna figure something out. We're gonna get AI in there to ask our questions or something, and then we'll just splice his face in. But it was good talking to EJ, man. Not knowing a lot about him before that interview, you know, doing some research. Good dude. The whole team too. Like you said, the clips that have
yeah.
been coming out of camp have been awesome. You know, it's only been 3 days or whatever, but it gives you a lot of hope, a lot of optimism, and that's what the offseason's for, baby. Hope time. Every team's at 0-0. Showboat's going to be 10-0, sailing off to the ship, taking down Birmingham Stallions, who just signed Case Cookis. Whatever, Case. You go to Birmingham and ring chase, buddy. We'll take you guys out of the playoffs, hopefully.
Anything is possible. Go Boats.
Go Boats.